This is very new. This is so new that you don't have a lot of tutorials or videos on YouTube people teaching about this. There are a lot of things in the coming slides which are not even talked about from any other tutor or guru on the YouTube platform. By the end of this video, you will become a master in setting up your Amazon PPC campaigns. If you want to run Amazon PPC ads successfully, you need to understand the fundamentals, and that's what we are going to do in this presentation and course. So let's get started. All right guys, without wasting any time, I'm gonna jump into my computer screen, and as you can see, the goal of this presentation, I call this PPC course part 1 because in this video or course we are going to understand the fundamentals of PPC and how do we set it up. And in the following video that I will put on my channel, I will exactly walk you through how do I optimize my PPC reports. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell before you leave. All right, before we move ahead, I need to get this out of the way because I've seen a lot of people just leave my videos and they kind of think that they shouldn't be listening to me because I might not be having experience. So here it is guys, proof of experience from my history in 2018. All right, so in the last year in 2018, I spent about $16,500 in my ad spend, basically in PPC on Amazon.com. It says 17 because the graph, as you can see, the graph is actually starting in 2015. I can talk about that story some other time. The ACOS throughout the year was approximately 26%. I got about 12 million impressions. 90% of this number is basically again in just 2018. It made me about $67,000 and brought me about 2,300 orders. I'm gonna actually go to my Seller Central and show you the same numbers exactly in a moment. But first, we will look at the sales screenshot because that is what's more interesting. In the last year, I did about $269,000 in revenue and I sold about 10,000 units of my product. Now that is really something. All right. So I know that there are still people thinking that, hey, this is just a screenshot, it might be Photoshop. Let's just go to the Seller Central and solve those doubts. All right, so as you can see, I'm in my Seller Central dashboard. My seller account name is obviously hidden because I cannot share that. These are the metrics from my last 7 days. Now, obviously you might say that my ACOS is too high here. That is only because I'm actually relaunching this product because I was out of stock for the last 50 days. All right. So we'll talk about that story some other time. I'm just gonna go and hit lifetime here, and as you would notice, the numbers would be very similar. All right, so now the numbers are not similar because I've basically filtered it down to only enabled campaigns, but let me just remove this filter right away for you. Yep, so as you can see, the numbers are exactly the same, about $17,000 of ad spend, about 26% of ACOS, and about 12 million impressions. $2,300, 68,000 revenue, all of those things. All right, so let's just quickly go to my business reports and see how much did I do last year. All right, I'm gonna just show you my orders month on month, and that's going to, so we are in the business reports dashboard. I'm gonna hit 1 year over here, and you can see starting from January 2018, 6,300, 4,600, 6,100, 7,500, 14,000, 13,000, 12,000, 12,000, 30,000 in November, and 150,000 in revenue in December. So as you can see, the last 2 months I really crushed it hard by bringing in about $180,000 in revenue. So yeah, I hope that is out of the way now and we can get ahead of ourselves. What are we going to cover in this course? We are going to basically first understand what is PPC. All right, it's very important. You need to understand that first. Then we are going to see where does Amazon really place your ads. Then we will talk about how does the Amazon ads platform work. So basically understanding the mechanism behind it. And trust me, by knowing all of these things, you can really become better at implementing the logic and running ads on Amazon. All right. Then we will look at some important things that you need to make sure you do before you start advertising on Amazon. Then we are going to understand how do we run automatic ads, how do we run manual ads, and finally we are going to look at some popular questions about PPC. All right, let's keep it really quick, right? All right, but first, just one last thing before we start. I want you all to take a notebook and pen. Just keep a notebook and pen with you at all times as you watch this course. Pause the video as soon as you think that you have a question in your mind and write it down on your notebook. But this is important. Before you leave the video, if you decide to leave the video in between, or if you watch it till the end, I want you all to put down your questions which you have collected in your notepad as comments under the video, so that even if you decide to leave the video, I can always get back to you and reply you with an answer to your question. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell as well, so that when I post my answers or when I post the next video about PPC optimization, you can be informed and we both win. All right, so please do all of these things and let's get started. All right guys, what is PPC? Well, PPC basically stands for pay per click. What does it mean? Well, it basically means you don't pay Amazon a single dollar if nobody clicks on your ad. So I have basically put down an example over here on the left side. If you can see, let's say you start running ads on Amazon and 1,000 people see your ad. All right, 1,000 people saw your ad because you started running your ads on Amazon, but only 50 people clicked them. And when they clicked on your ad, you were bidding about $1. I will explain what does bidding mean, but let's say you were willing to pay $1 for every person who clicked on your ad. So that means by coming in front of 1,000 people, if only 50 people click on your ad, you basically only pay $50. All right, you do not pay $1,000 for running your ads. So again, like a lot of you might already know this, but I still want to clarify this for you, that you only pay Amazon per click. That is what it means. All right, so let's keep it quick. Let's first understand, where do we see our ads? Okay, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you must have already been to Amazon.com to research, to buy, or whatever. Whenever you search for something on Amazon, you will get a list of results. All right, and if you pay a close attention to your list of results, you would see that the first few products in the list, they are actually sponsored products. Okay, so that's where you see Amazon putting these ads, and that's where your product might show up if you start running your ads for a certain keyword or for your product in general. All right, so search results was one. The second spot where Amazon puts your ads is product listing page. Okay, so if you go to any product listing page and you scroll down towards the second half of the page, you would see a row of products, okay, where you would see the title as sponsored products related to this item. So of course, Amazon is not telling the customers that all of these products are sponsored. They are basically just simplifying the messaging by putting the sponsored products title at the very top, and that really makes it look like as if it's not an ad. So that's how you basically get customers buying your products without telling them, hey, we are advertising. Right? The third kind of ads that you would see on Amazon's platform is called headline ads. Now, these are something that you only get to do if you are registered as a brand on Amazon. Now, this is extremely advanced. You don't need to think about it or worry about it when you're starting out on Amazon. And you can always come back to me and ask me more about this. We are not going to discuss this in this presentation because it's out of the scope of a beginner or an intermediate seller. All right, guys. This was new, so I actually added this in my slide as soon as I saw this on Amazon. Amazon now has a new add to cart experience. So as soon as you add a product to your cart, basically a window from the right side of the screen would come up on your screen, and you would also see some sponsored products ad right here, as you can see. So that's again a very interesting point in time where you can actually convince your customer to get your product added in the cart. Now let's look at how does the Amazon platform work. So Amazon is an ad bidding platform. So I don't know if any one of you has ever been to an auction before, but what happens in auction? In an auction, there's an item, all right? There's an item which people bid for, and whoever bids the highest gets that item. It is the same with Amazon. In Amazon, they have these ad spots, which we just saw in the previous slides. They have these ad placements defined on their platform, and whoever is willing to pay the most to get on those spots will get the spots. That is what it means. All right, and we will get to the details of this process later in the slides when we are looking at the bidding, when we are going to set our bidding. But that is what it means. So whoever bids the highest for a placement gets to be there. That is the core mechanism behind it. But you must also remember one important thing, and that is the second point on the slide, which basically means that, all right, before I say that, I want you to know, and I want you all to understand that for Amazon, customer is king, customer is God, and customer is everything. So it does everything for customers, even if it itself incurs a loss. All right, so remember that. And with that thought, I want you to understand this second part, or the second point. So it doesn't matter if your ads, if you are paying the highest for certain keywords. All right, it doesn't matter if you're paying the highest for certain keywords, but if your ads are not converting. What it means is that, let's say you show up on the first page at the first spot because you were bidding the highest, but nobody was purchasing from your ads. All right, so people were clicking on your ads, but nobody was purchasing from your ads. So for Amazon, that's a bad customer experience. Amazon figures it out very quickly that, hey, people are clicking on this ad, but they're not buying anything, and they're even leaving Amazon.com's platform. So I'm not going to give this advertiser this spot. So even if you pay the highest, if you have a bad listing or a bad offer, and if you do not get sales and conversions on your product, Amazon would not give you that place in the future unless you refresh your system, you fix some things, and you try again and you fix those mistakes. All right, so remember that. All right, so one last thing before we start creating our ads and understanding how do we create ads, you need to do these 5 things without mistake. All right, do not start running your ads before you fix these 5 things. All right, so what are these 5 things? These are very important. I don't want any one of you to skip it. The first thing that you must fix on your listing is the listing images. Make sure they are optimized, make sure they are done right, make sure they have a story to tell, make sure they list all the important features of the product in the listing images itself. If you want to learn more about it, I've got this video, check it out. It's on my channel. You can go and check it out before you start your PPC campaigns. The second thing that you must always optimize for is your title. All right, so basically on Amazon, you need to optimize everything that has keywords in it: the title, the bullet points, the backend keywords, and the description. Those are the 5 things that you need to optimize. All right, before you start running ads, make sure you optimize these, because if you do not do that and you start spending dollars for advertising your product, you might start getting sales because you might just have a great product in a great market and a good offer, but that is not the goal, right? You need to also start getting a lot of organic sales, and you would not get indexed for a lot of keywords if you do not optimize your listing. So again, if after watching this video you decide to run your ads, first watch the listing optimization video on my channel. I will put it up on the card on the right side of the screen, so check it out. All right guys, now finally we are here. Let's get started with understanding how do we create ads. First we will look at how do we create automatic ads, and then we will look at how do we create manual ads. All right, so I've basically taken a lot of screenshots to make it simpler for you guys to understand. These screenshots are absolutely new. I've just taken it this month. As you can see, the last month over here is March. So just for the sake of simplicity, I've taken screenshots, and it's not a video tutorial, but I assure you these are the latest screenshots from the platform. And there are a lot of things in the coming slides which are not even talked about from any other tutor or guru on the YouTube platform. All right, so let's get started. How do we do this? So once you log into your Sellers Central account, you would see a tab called Advertising. You have to basically go and hover over that tab, and you would see an option called Campaign Manager. All right, click on Campaign Manager. You would see two options on your screen. On the left it says sponsored products, on the right it says sponsored brands. Forget the sponsored brands, because again that's an advanced thing. You don't get to use that if you haven't done your brand registry. All right, so let's go ahead and click continue on the sponsored products option, and this is what will pop up on your screen at the very top. All right, so first you need to name your campaign. Cool. How do we name our campaigns? All right, keep it simple. All right, just name your campaign with the name of your product and the type of a campaign you're going to start. So you're gonna either start auto campaign or a manual campaign. So the way I like to name my campaigns is simply by putting the brand name or the initials for the brand name, as you can see over here. And I like to also put some identifier for myself and the type of campaign it is. So basically you can either put, so let's say if your brand name was Kitchen Tales, you can basically put your campaign name as KT_auto or KT_P1_auto. P1 basically meant phase 1 for me. So, all right, so you can have your own kind of nomenclature over there, but let's just keep it simple and just keep it simple enough for you to identify it yourself after a few months, because you're mostly never going to turn off these campaigns. All right, then you have to set your start date and an end date. All right, usually you should never set an end date, because you are never going to turn off your campaigns. And the reason behind that is as the campaign grows older and matures over time, it really starts getting a lot of data. So you don't really want to turn it off. So just put a start date, and usually your start date should be today itself. If you plan to start it some other time in the future, maybe in a couple of days, just put your start date to that date. All right. Daily budget. All right. You need to understand this very clearly. Now let's see, how do we put our daily budget and how does daily budget work on Amazon? So on Amazon, if you set your budget too high and Amazon doesn't utilize that entire budget on that particular day, it will save the remainder amount for the next day. So let's take this example. Let's say you set your budget to $10 a day, and on day 1, you only spend about $5. Okay. So that means Amazon still has $5 in their pocket. All right. Which basically means on day 2, Amazon will set its budget dynamically to $15. So on day 2, your campaigns can spend up to $15. All right. So let's again, for the sake of example, let's say that Amazon spends all of those $15. All right. So on day 3, your Amazon budget would come back to $10, because that is what you have set as your daily budget. All right. So I hope that is very simple to understand, and I hope you keep that in your mind, because a lot of people keep asking this question that, hey, if I set my budget too high, let's say if I set it at $100, will Amazon always spend those $100 every day? Well, that's not going to happen. If there is no scope of spending, or if you don't get a lot of clicks, you might just not spend all of your budget. All right. So the next thing that you need to create after you set your campaign name, daily budget, and the date is that you need to set your ad group name. All right. So again, keep it simple. Use your brand name initials and just name your ad group as brand name initials KT_ad group _1. All right. You can use your own brand name initials over here. I like to keep this very simple. All right. Next, on the bottom section, as you can see, you have to basically go and select a product. Okay, now I've hidden my products, of course, because I cannot show you the products that I sell, but don't panic, these are all real products in my backend. I used to dropship before, and that is why you see about 18,000 products here in my database. If you're getting shocked, or if you think that is a bad if you think this is a screenshot, it's actually a screenshot, but it's a real screenshot. Okay, so you have to basically go and hit add on your product, and as soon as you click add over here, your product will get added on the right side. Okay, so as you can see, it says one product added right here. Okay, so that is what you need to do. After this, you have to set your bidding. Okay, now you need to understand this also very carefully. Now we are going to cover this right now, and then I'm gonna go very quickly when I teach you about manual ads, because it's the same logic over there. Okay, so this is very new. This is so new that you don't have a lot of tutorials or videos on YouTube people teaching about this. Okay, people don't even talk about this because they probably want to take leverage of this first and then come and teach you about these things a lot later, but not on my channel. Well, that means you should subscribe, definitely. All right, folks, now let's get into the important bit, and this slide, I will just go a little bit slowly on this one because this is a little complicated to understand and digest at first. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to listen to me carefully. Okay, I've got examples and everything, so I'm gonna make it super easy for you. Just listen to me carefully, and then you can always just come back to this video, slow it down later on, and when you're about to set up your launch campaigns, I would really advise you to come back to this video and revise everything before you launch those campaigns for the very first time. All right, let's get into it. So this will be the next section that you will see on your create a campaign page. All right, so this part of the process is called setting your bidding strategy. All right, so there are 3 kinds of bidding strategy, and these are actually introduced only this January. It wasn't there before this. I don't think there's any video on YouTube that talks about this, or I don't think any of the courses out there are also updated with this information. So this is brand new. This is, I'm giving it to you away for free. So I would really appreciate if you can hit that like button just for that thought. All right. So there are 3 types of bidding strategy that you can use on your campaigns. All right. This is the same across automatic campaigns and manual campaigns. So don't get yourself confused around there. It's the same thing. It's the same step that you will have while setting up both auto and manual campaigns. All right. So there are 3 kinds of strategies that Amazon allows you to opt for. The first one is called dynamic bids down only. Second one is dynamic bids up and down. And third one is fixed bids. Let's look at them one by one. All right. So what does dynamic bids down only mean? All right. This is official definition from Amazon. So I'm going to go through it first, and then I'm going to explain the same thing with an example. All right. So what Amazon says is that Amazon will reduce your bids in real time for clicks that may be less likely to convert to a sale. All right. So I'm going to explain that to you with an example, but let's look at their example first. So basically they're giving an example of, as you can read over here, they're giving an example of a sports watch, right? Let's say you have set a bid for $1 for a keyword which says, let's say you have set a bid for $1 for the keyword sports watch, okay? And if Amazon sees an opportunity, right, where your product, basically you might be selling a watch which is mostly a fitness tracker and is not a sports watch. So when people are searching for sports watch and your fitness tracker comes in their search result, it might happen that people don't buy it. All right. People might be checking it out because it just looks very similar to a sports watch, but they might not buy that product. In that scenario, Amazon will reduce your bid. So even though you might have set a bid of $1 on the keyword sports watch, but if Amazon sees that, hey, people are clicking on your ad but not converting or buying, Amazon will reduce your bid to 20 cents. And the only thing that is not clear in this and in the information provided by Amazon is that they have not specified clearly by how much will they reduce the bid. So I don't think that answer is available right now, but in their example, they've basically reduced it to about 20 cents from $1, right? So they've reduced it by 80 cents. All right. So let me just explain to you once again with one more example. What does it mean? Let's say you were selling a garlic press and your product was the one which you see on the right side. Okay. A normal garlic press, right? But there are some special garlic press products available on Amazon which are basically designed for arthritic hands. All right, people who are suffering from arthritis, they buy those garlic presses. So let's say your product started showing up because you were bidding for a broad keyword called garlic press, and garlic press for arthritic hands was also showing your product, but people were not converting on that advertisement. So Amazon will So what will happen is that Amazon will reduce your bid for the keyword garlic press for arthritic hand, because Amazon would have figured it out that people who are searching for that product specifically, they're not going to buy the product that you are showing. All right. So that way Amazon will help you save your money, save your costs, and optimize your PPC campaigns automatically. So this is actually a very good feature from Amazon, and this is how their platform used to work by default before January 2019. All right. So that was their default scenario. All right. Now let's look at the second bidding strategy. Over here, okay, don't get scared by the long definition. I'm going to make it very simple for you all right? So in this strategy, Amazon is not just going to reduce it when they see that your ad might not convert. They are also going to increase the bid on your product, or basically they're going to increase your bid when they think that certain keywords might definitely give you a conversion or are giving you good conversions. All right. So for example, again, let's look at the example first, and that will just help you understand everything that basically they want to say. All right. So let's say again, let's take the same example. Let's say you were selling garlic press, and when somebody searches for garlic press for arthritic hands, and your ads don't convert, Amazon is going to reduce the bid, all right? But let's say when people are searching for stainless steel garlic press and Amazon tries to show your ad to them, and most often than not people tend to buy your product with that keyword, Amazon is going to increase your bids. Okay, it's going to increase your bids, and it can increase your bids to a maximum of 100%. That's what this definition right here says. It's going to increase a bid to a maximum of 100%, which basically means it's going to double your bids if needed. All right, but it means up to that, not always. It's not going to double it always. All right, let's say you were bidding 75 cents for the keyword stainless steel garlic press, and Amazon figures out that, hey, whenever somebody sees an ad for that keyword for your product, they tend to buy. All right, and if now somebody tries to outbid you, let's say that person is trying to that there's another seller who is trying to bid higher than you, but you have a better conversion on your ads, then Amazon is going to increase your bids a little over the other seller's bid, and therefore you are going to still show up on the first page for that ad if you select this bidding strategy. All right, so that's what it basically means. And there's one small caveat that you must always keep in mind. All right, Amazon is not going to increase your ads bid by 100% always. All right, so it's going to increase your ads bid by 100% for top of the search, like basically first spot of the search results, right? So basically that means is when you search for a keyword and you see the first couple of products as sponsored, for that spot it's going to increase it up to 100%. And for the product detail page, okay, which I also show you in the first few slides, over there it's going to increase it to a maximum of 50%, not more than that. So they have upper thresholds, but they don't have minimum thresholds. It means from 0 to 50% and from 0 to 100%. all right, so again, like, I know it's a little bit confusing, but if you have any doubts or you need any clarifications, just make notes and write those notes right now. If you have any doubts, just pause the video, write the notes and drop them below in the comment section before you leave. All right, let's keep moving. Let's keep the speed going on. Bidding strategy number 3. This is absolutely what it basically means. Fixed bids. Over here, Amazon is not going to use any sort of intelligence. It's just going to do what you ask it to do. All right, so basically, if you set your bid to $1, Amazon is going to bid $1 for every keyword that campaign has in it, or if it's an automatic campaign, it's going to just bid $1 for all the damn keywords. All right, but that can be a good and a bad thing, because at times you might just end up losing a lot of money, and this is actually you can say a very advanced thing to do. So ideally you should start with the bid strategy 1, and if you think that you really know your market very well, you know your keywords very well, you're somebody who just understands how does the entire system work, then you should use fixed bids. Okay, so basically in simple words, you spend exactly what you bid for. Amazon will not optimize your ads, and you are the person who is going to basically optimize your own ads. All right, so guys, those were the 3 bidding strategies. I hope I've made it clear with all the examples that I had. There's something at the bottom of the slides, if you have noticed it already. This is very critical. It's called Amazon's Bid Plus feature. Okay, this is also very new, but not for you guys, not anymore. All right, you will know what it is after today, after watching this course. All right guys, so I've basically clicked on that option and zoomed it up, opened it up for you. So this is what it has inside it. When you click on that option, when you expand that option, you will see these 2 options. So what Amazon is telling you over here is that Amazon can override your bidding strategy. All right, so basically whatever your bidding strategy is, it could be 1, 2 or 3. Irrespective of that, you can actually play a bit different game around here. All right, so if you say that you're bidding, you're gonna do fixed bids, for example. Let's take that example because it's very simple. Let's say you were going to use fixed bids and you were going to bid $1 or maybe 75 cents per click to Amazon. All right, now over here what you can do is you can actually set by what percentage do you want to increase your bid to come on the first spot of the search results page, or by what percentage do you want to increase your bids to come on the product pages. Okay, so let's look at the math over here. All right, I've actually even highlighted which spots that Amazon is talking about. So these are the 2 spots Amazon is talking about in the first point and in the second point. Okay, that I believe that is very clear for you. All right, now let's look at the maths. So let's say you were trying to set a bid for 75 cents for default, and you set this parameter over here to 50%. So you're telling Amazon that, hey, I'm willing to pay 50% extra, okay, for a per click if you put me on the search results. All right, so what will that amount to? Let's say your bid was 75 cents, then basically you have to add 50% of 75 cents to 75 cents, and that would basically mean $1.13 per click. And that's what Amazon will make your bid at if you set this to 50%, okay? And you can set it to a maximum of 900%. Now, I don't know who does it, but again, like people who have products with extremely huge markups and huge margins, they can usually take really good advantage of this. So I always keep advising people that find a product which has really good margins, okay? It has to have at least 40% plus margins. The higher the better, and you will be at a lot more comfortable spot if you find a product with higher margins, okay? So secondly, you can pause the slide and pause the presentation and look at the second example over here, wherein I have set my product page bids to a 15% markup, and therefore I'm basically telling Amazon that I'm ready to pay 86 cents instead of 75 cents as my default bid. Okay, so I hope you've got that. I hope that is very clear for you. I hope this brings you value and insights. Right, let's keep moving. Now finally, okay, last bit before you start your campaign, this is the last section that you will see. Okay, over here Amazon is giving you an opportunity to add negative keywords, right? But when you're starting out, okay, you do not need to add any negative keywords, okay, because you would not have any ideas what keywords might not work for you. You can only find which keywords are not working for you by looking at your PPC reports over time. So just to answer quickly, when do you use it? You basically use it when you realize that certain keywords are not getting you conversions and they're just losing money or basically bleeding money. Then you add those negative keywords in this section of the campaign settings, and then Amazon basically will not show your ads for those keywords, and therefore you will not lose any money. That is kind of like the short story over here. So that was all for automatic ads. That's how you run automatic ads. Now you just have to click on launch campaign, the button at the bottom right corner of the page. You've basically filled up all the right information. So once you've set up everything, just click launch campaign and your ads will get started automatically immediately. Right? But you must pay attention over here. After you launch your automatic campaigns, you must at least give it 2 weeks, especially when you're starting out, and especially when you're starting out with small budgets. Okay, let's say you were starting out with a budget of about $10 to $15. You need to give it at least a week and a half, 2 weeks of time to collect data and give you a good insight into what's happening, which keywords are selling, which keywords are not selling, and all that. All right. The second point over here says set your budgets generously during your launch. You should at least set it at $15 to $20. But if you're somebody who has already launched a product in the past and you really want to accelerate your launch, you can actually set it at a high budget, probably $30, $50, and even $100 if you can digest that cost. All right. So pro tip over here is that if you have a product which has great margins, there is no harm in starting out with a large budget for automatic campaigns when you are launching, because then you're just going to get a lot of data a lot quickly. You don't have to wait for 2 weeks, and you don't have to wait for 10 days. You just have to launch with a larger budget. That way Amazon can basically get a lot of data, and within 3-4 days you will be able to figure out which keywords are converting and which keywords are not converting, and start your manual campaigns immediately. All right. Now, one more thing that you must always remember is that if you do not get any sales in the first 48 hours, don't panic. That's very normal with automatic campaigns, because automatic campaigns basically are trying to understand your listing, all right, and the information that you've provided in your listing. That is why it's extremely important for you to optimize your listing first and then start your campaigns. All right. So Amazon is going to first just experiment, figure out, learn from the text that you have provided, the keywords that you have provided in your listing, that hey, I'm going to put your ad here. Let's say what's converting, what's not converting. So Amazon's system is going to figure that out. So it also needs some time. So you might or might not get some sales in the first 48 hours, depending on how well have you optimized your listing. All right. So one last thumb rule: if you're already running your automatic ads from a long time, always go back and check the reports of these campaigns every 2 weeks. Okay, at least every 2 weeks, if not 10 days, if every 2 weeks. All right. So that was all. Now let's jump ahead and figure out how do we run manual campaigns. All right. So I promise you this will be very quick, because we've already covered a lot of how do we set up the campaigns at a basic level. So it's going to be the same. I'm just going to cover the areas in depth which are different from automatic campaigns. All right. So the first thing is, how do you get your keywords for manual campaigns? So in manual campaigns, you have to basically tell Amazon exactly which keywords do you want your product to show for. So how do you get these keywords? All right. Well, if you have listened to me carefully and if you have optimized your listing already, you must already have a good list of keywords that you basically figured out and researched to put in your listing, and those keywords can become your starting point in starting your manual campaigns, right? The second way to get good keyword ideas for your manual campaigns is using Amazon search. Just type in your primary keyword or your root keyword for your product in the search bar of Amazon and just hit space, and then you will see a lot of suggestions popping up in the search bar. Those are actually intelligently shown to customers based on the search results of customers on Amazon. All right, so you can use those to your leverage and use those keywords right away in your manual campaigns if those keywords make sense to your product. The third way, and this is the way people usually start discovering new keywords, is by looking at their automatic campaign reports. And that is why it is extremely important that you always keep your automatic campaigns running, because automatic campaigns will help you mine new keywords which you might not even think about. All right, so we'll get to it when we look at PPC optimization reports and we evaluate these reports. I will give you an example of how does it all work together, but over here right now, let's just figure out how do we start our manual ads. Okay, but first let's just understand keyword match types. There are 3 keyword match types that you need to understand, and this is very important. Pay attention to this very closely. All right, so there are 3 types of keywords, keyword match types. The number 1 is broad, second is called phrase, and third is called exact. Right, actually they're very literal in their definitions, but let's look at their examples. All right, so the broad match type would basically match all keywords in any order, including plurals, variations, and related keywords. All right, so for example, let's say you set garlic press as your manual ad keyword, and you decide to keep it as a broad match type. Then all of these example keywords that you see over here will show your ad potentially if your bid is right. Okay, so when customer searches for stainless steel garlic press, your ad can show up. When customer searches for wooden garlic press, your ad can still show up. When customer searches for garlic crusher, your ad can still show up, because Amazon system or the intelligent system behind Amazon would know that garlic crusher basically means something like garlic press, and therefore they are related, and therefore I think I should show the ad to the customer, right? So that is what broad match type means. Now let's look at what phrase means. All right, so phrase contains the exact phrase or sequence of keywords. All right, this is very good for getting relevant traffic to your listing. For example, if your keyword was stainless steel garlic press and your match type was set to phrase, then your product would show up for all of these keywords: stainless steel garlic press, stainless steel garlic press, steel garlic press. Okay, so basically if you see, the first one is of course exactly what the keyword was. The second example here is steel garlic press, which is this part of the phrase, and the third example is basically garlic press. Okay, so all of these different kinds of keywords are actually going to show your ad to the customer. Logically, even if you search for stainless press, or steel press, or stainless garlic, or steel garlic, or stainless steel, your ads would still show up. All right, but it might not get conversions because it might not make sense for the customer. So for example, if somebody searches for stainless steel, your ads might still show up, to the customer can still see the garlic press that you're trying to sell, but obviously customers will not buy it, and therefore eventually you will figure out that stainless steel as an exact keyword needs to go into negative keywords so that you don't lose money for that keyword. All right, so yeah, I know I just jumped ahead a little bit, but I hope you understand that. All right, the third type of match type is called exact, and that's what it exactly means. That's funny. Anyways, so it's what it exactly means. If you if you set your keyword match type to exact for a keyword, for example, let's take your keyword. Let's say your keyword was wooden garlic press, okay, and you set it to an exact match type, then your product would only show up when somebody searches for wooden garlic press and nothing else, right? So those are the three match types that you really need to understand before you start your manual campaigns. Now, you must be familiar with this step, right? So basically you have to set your campaign name again over here, okay? Set your start date, set your end date, set your daily budget, and I will tell you exactly what should be your daily budget in the next slide, and set it to manual targeting this time because we are creating manual campaigns. All right, now you have to understand this a little bit carefully because this is where a lot of people make mistakes, and then they come back to me or they ask questions in the group that, hey, I'm not getting impressions, or my keywords are not working, my manual campaigns are not working. And this is probably the reason, the first thing that you should be checking. All right, so the important thing over here is that when you're putting keywords in your manual campaign, you have to ensure that the number of keywords are always less than 1.5 times the budget. Okay, so for example, let's say you figured somehow that you only want to spend $20 every day on your manual campaigns. Okay, then that means the number of keywords in this manual campaign should never be over 30, because 20 times 1.5 is 30. Why is that? All right, so that is the first question that might come to your mind, that why is it 1.5 times budget? Okay, basically 1.5 is a random number that I've picked only because I only want to bid a maximum of $1.5 per keyword. Okay, if your bid is higher, you can have a lot more budget and a lot more keywords in your campaigns, but 1.5 times is kind of like an optimal spot to be, and I don't think anybody's trying, like most sellers try to bid for keywords which are more expensive than 1.5. Now why is that? Well, that's because you want all of your keywords to get a chance. Okay, if you have too less budget and you have too many keywords in your campaign, then your keywords which are then you will definitely have a lot of keywords which are not going to get any impressions because there was just not enough budget, right? That is the only reason for this thumb rule, and that is why you should follow this thumb rule religiously. All right, the second step to create your manual campaign is to again set up your ad group name and select your products. Again, we have already looked at this, so let's just keep moving. After that, you have to set your bidding strategy. This is exactly what I told you before. There's nothing new over here. You can always look back in my video and figure the information for this slide out. All right, and now there are two types of manual targeting options. Again, the second option was actually introduced in November 2018. I don't think a lot of you know about this, or I don't think you have found tutorials around this as well. I haven't. Okay, I think there was one announcement on my channel for this, but I haven't found any tutorials. But in this session, we are just going to stick to keyword targeting and keep moving. All right, finally, in the next section, you have to basically select or add in your keywords. Now, as you can see, the first tab says suggested. Amazon is going to suggest keywords to you which are ideal for your listing based on its analysis over your listing. So based on basically the keywords that you have provided in your title, bullet points, descriptions, and based on the analysis of its own automatic campaign, if you have been running that already, right? So Amazon is going to suggest you a lot of keywords, and these are usually a good point to start with. Now, if you already are aware of your keywords, you can actually just go ahead and go to this next section where you can add in your own keywords. Okay, so you can basically add in your own keywords, and also as you type these keywords, Amazon will still suggest a lot of give you a lot of automatic suggestions from its intelligent database. So for example, if you're going to type garlic press, it's going to suggest a lot of keywords which may make sense to you. And this is also an extremely awesome, interesting way to start with your manual campaigns from day one. So the point you should remember over here is that, and the point to pay attention over here is that you don't have to wait to get reports from your automatic campaigns to start your manual campaigns. You can actually start with manual campaigns from day one, and that way you can just improve and optimize your launch process a lot better. Okay, now you must definitely understand this now, because we have discussed this in breadth. So basically, if you add a bunch of keywords over here, you have to select the match type that you want these keywords to be in, and then click on this button, add keywords. What will happen is that as soon as you click on the add keyword button over here, your keywords will get added into this campaign. All right, now if you want to add different match types of keywords, you have to add them separately. So let's say you wanted to add an exact keyword which was stainless steel garlic press. Okay, at that time you have to basically type in stainless steel garlic press over here, set this option to exact, and then click on add keyword, and it will get added as an exact keyword. Okay, so you just have to repeat that process for different match types, but as long as all the keywords are in the same match type, you can actually just add them in separate lines over here, and you are good to go. All right, so once you add the keywords into the campaign, it's going to show you this at the bottom. Okay, so what is it showing over here? So let's say basically over here we've added these 4 keywords, 1, 2, 3, and 4. All of them are actually right now set to broad match type, which is fine, because that's where you should ideally start. And by looking at your automatic campaign reports, your manual campaign reports, you can ideally optimize the highly converting keywords to exact and phrase match types, but you should always start at broad. So let's not worry about that right now. So let me talk a little bit about the bids here. Okay, so you see 3 things. You see a suggested bid, which is this over here, 33 cents for the first keyword. You see a minimum bid and a maximum bid. So what Amazon is trying to tell you is that for this keyword right now, the minimum that you can bid is 7 cents, and that would give you some impressions, but obviously you will not come on the first page even if you're running ads with that low a bid. The highest you should be bidding right now is 40 cents, because I believe Amazon's system is trying to tell you is that the highest bid that Amazon is getting on this keyword right now is somewhere around 40 cents. So if you try and bid higher than that, you might usually end up on the first page, but you don't know, some other seller might also be bidding higher, and then you might not come on the first page. But this is the scenario right now, and it's giving you a suggestive bid which is 33 cents, and that's what it's asking you to bid, so that you get good impressions and you also don't lose a lot of money. Now what do I like to do? I usually like to apply the suggested bid and increase it by 10 to 15% usually. All right, because mostly, at least a lot of beginner to intermediate sellers would usually always pick the suggested bid. Okay, and that's where people like to start. And if you just increase it by a little percentage over that, you can always try and get good impressions and not lose a lot of money. All right, now you might see that all the bids over here are 75 cents. That is because at the beginning we had set our default bid to 75 cents. So you must always remember to look at these, because you don't want to be spending too much. Like if Amazon is telling you that 36 cents is a suggested bid, there is no way to bid double of that at this moment. You can probably bid for it, but there is no advantage in doing that right now. So always make sure that you look at these automatic default bids that are set. You look at the suggested bid, and then you set your bids rightfully. All right, so that was how you set your manual campaigns. And after that, you just have to click on the launch campaign button, which you see at the very right corner on the page, and that will just fire your campaigns, and you can actually laser target your competition and get started with your manual ads on day one. All right, so we are not done yet. You need to okay, I forgot to prepare this slide, but we're gonna just go over it. I have another course in mind, basically another long form video just like this one, wherein I will be talking about PPC optimization. Okay, so we have basically seen in this course how do we set our ads, how do we set our manual ads, how do we set our automatic campaign ads, and all the fundamentals. We've covered all those things. Now you're actually very ready to start your campaign ads. Now in a week's time, I'm gonna actually release another video where I will be talking about how do you evaluate your PPC reports. For that, you just have to do two things. Go on the link that I have below, okay, and just message me. It's a messenger link. Just go to messenger and tell me that you want me to make that as soon as possible. So I want PPC. Just type in the phrase I want PPC and send me a message, and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that when I release that video, you all are notified and you don't want to miss that. All right, I think there was a lot of value in this video, and I'm sure that the next video will be even better. And you can tell from this video that there are a lot of things that I'm teaching you guys for free on this channel which has not been taught anywhere. All right, nobody's trying to teach you this right now. All right, so one last thing before we go, we also had a FAQ section, but since this tutorial has become too long, I'm gonna cut it right now, and I'm gonna make separate video for these FAQs. So again, you don't want to miss these questions. These are absolutely killer questions. These are absolutely the questions that would come to your mind when you're actually trying to set your ads. So don't miss this. Subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and please hit that thumbs up button, because that will just motivate me to make these questions and videos for you as soon as possible. All right, until next time, adios.